Hey guys, Languagehacker here with a mini set out. I want to show you 4 decks that you guys should be trying now on day 1, 2, 3, whenever this video comes out. 4 new decks, or new decks-ish, that you guys should play because they're either cool, fun, or strong. So let's hop in, talk about the 4 decks real quick so you guys can get to playing. Okay, first off, this one you might have seen on Lair already. This is Kazakusan Druid. It's a little bit of a different list that I'm running, but I can talk about what you might want to change if you like doing some different things. This is a more well-rounded list where we're running Glowfly Storm like we used to with Spell Druid. We still have Guff, we still have Pouches, Cenarian Wards, good survivability stuff. We have our removal cards, card draw, flexibility, Moonlit Guidance, Solar Eclipse, all that good stuff. We've added Kazakusan and Raid Boss Onyxia. I rated these cards pretty meh in my review, but they have turned out to be very, very good. Now, that being said, they're both quite slow, but if you can capitalize off of some strengths of, let's say, Druid, for example, where you can ramp up and get this out quickly, it's very, very good. And some decks are finding ways to cheat it out as well. So pretty good cards. Kazakusan, if all minions in your deck are dragons, craft a custom deck of treasures, and these come from duels, so they're kind of busted. Quite frankly, it's very frustrating to play against, but if you're the one playing them, it's okay. And Onyxia is also very, very good. 8 mana Rush, meanwhile you control Whelp, and it also summons, has a battle cry, 6/2/1 Whelps, and those all have Rush too. So it's 8/8 kill a thing, and then you have some more stuff that kills things, and then it's a threat. And Onyxia cannot be targeted while she's immune. So that can't be death, assassin, like nothing can touch Onyxia until the Whelps are dead, which makes it actually kind of annoying to deal with. And also we're running the new card Scale of Onyxia. Fill your board with 2/1 Whelps with Rush, costs 7 mana, conveniently comes out after Overgrowth, so you can curve ramp into come back onto the board. And it's also extra waves. If you're the aggressor in the matchup, you have a couple of Glowfly Storms, you have Scales of Onyxia, you have Cenarian Wards, you have Kazakusan, you have a lot of threats in this deck. And then also Guff, once you get to 10 plus mana, you can pouch for more stuff. So the deck has a lot of value. It's got removal, threats, it's got some good stuff. This is probably first deck you want to try if you want to have some fun. Let's talk about some other stuff. You'll notice that a few of these decks are called Kazakusan, and spoiler, that's because they're running Kazakusan. This is a Warlock deck that popped up overnight as well, similarly running Kazakusan and Onyxia as the top end. No other minions in the deck, however, to be able to use the Dark Portal. Draw a minion. If you have at least 8 cards in hand, it costs 5 less. So you can ship this on turn 4, then you have a 3 mana Kazakusan that you can play with some removal, or you hit a 5 mana Onyxia. Onyxia is pretty good on 5 mana, especially, again, if you spend the turn setting up for it, you might be a bit behind, and Onyxia can help you get back on board. And if you get Kazakusan, well, take a couple turns, clean up the board, and then just play a 3 mana Kazakusan when you feel like it. Most of the rest of the deck is removal. There's some Dark Alley Pacts for some pressure as well. In case you don't draw Dark Portal, you can still just play this on 4 to have a threat. If you don't like this, you can add more removal in. And yeah, the rest is just removal. There are altar fires, so if your opponent has Kazakusan before you, just blow up their deck and it's gone. If you want to get real spicy, you can try running Ticketus as well to have kind of a similar game plan. This is more of a fun deck, but it can still be kind of good. I mean, Warlock removal is quite good, and if you can remove your opponent's threats until you get Kazakusan down, that's just good, even without the Dark Portal. It's still a possibility. Ooh, I did want to note before we move on, if you do want to, you can cut Onyxia and the Cenarian Wards to run Capture Coldtooth Mine. So you'll get Kazakusan more often, but then you lose some of the survivability from the Cenarian Ward, and you will not have Onyxia. You can then as well put in Feral Rages if you want to still have some armor gain, or I guess reach as well if you want, but mainly armor gain to replace the Cenarian Wards, so that's an option. Okay, next up, the third Kazakusan deck. I believe Kibler popped up with this deck. Came up with this deck. I think this is the exact 30 cards that Kibler's running, so credit to him for that. But it's still using the use of Kazakusan and once again Onyxia, so if you want to run new cards, these are the decks to try. There's also the Lightmaw Nether Drakes. It's a new dragon that's added. If you're holding a Holy and a Shadow spell, deal 3 damage to all their minions, which is kind of a Duskbreaker type effect. Horn of Rathian, new priest spell. Draw a minion. If it's a dragon, summon 2 2/1 Whelps with Rush. Well, that's good for 2 reasons. 1, we only run dragons, so we always get the Whelps, and 2, it draws the good dragons, right? Because we're only running good dragons. Horn of Rathian on 3, AoE the board on 4, cool. You don't hit the AoE dragon, well then you draw one of your threats, that's cool as well. And similarly, you run Insight because the minions that you're running are very curated, so you get the minions that you want. And the rest of the deck is removal, cheap removal, and a pretty even balance of Holy and Shadow spells to make sure that Lightmaw Nether Drake is active often. There's one Raise Dead here. I don't actually like the Raise Dead too much, but I'm going to trust Kibler over... I haven't really done testing with this. I played a little bit. I think I wanted to add something else because Raise Dead's a little awkward. Raise Dead's good in the exact situation where you have Nether Drake on curve, and then you just Raise Dead it to remove another board. If you really want, you could find another removal spell instead. Maybe you want to take in a Death if you're facing big stuff. Maybe if you're running... I don't even know what else you would run. You can find another removal spell. Priest is plenty. And replace that with Raise Dead. But Raise Dead could be good if you're facing slower matchups and you want more value. And there's also Draconic Studies, which means that you can get all the good dragons even more. Fun deck. Try it out. We played a bunch of these decks today on stream, and it was pretty good. And finally, a non-Kazakusan deck. This is a deck that I've been running. It's a slightly updated SI7 list. I've cut out Smite and some other cards just to play minions on curve. Nice little tempo deck to try to beat up the slow matchups that exist right now. There is a new card here, SI7 Smuggler, 3 mana, 1/3, Battlecry, summon a random minion with cost equal to the amount of SI7 cards that you've played this game. And it counts itself, interestingly. I'm not sure if that's intended or not, but it's still good. So what this means is that you're more consistently completing the quest because you have more SI7 cards. You have extra synergy because your SI7 assassin becomes cheaper more often, or your informant becomes bigger more often. And the fact that the rest of the deck runs SI7 cards means that this ends up summoning a lot of stuff. So early on curve, smallish board, you generate a smaller minion, that's fine, and then later on when you top deck it, it's still a really good top deck because after, you know, you played 7, 8, 9, 10 SA7 cards, this summons an absolute chonker. And because of that, it's still probably worth running Battlemaster. Otherwise, bunch of SI7 cards, a little bit of card draw, scabs for some high roll potential, a little bit of reach with the stabs as well. And otherwise, you'll notice that it's pretty much similar to how old Questrook is. So if you want all of those codes, they are below in the description. Let me know how you guys are enjoying the mini set. Drop a like, a comment, a subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. I'll pull up maybe some guides for some of the decks as the meta evolves. So keep an eye out for that in the coming few days.